Nemesis Inferno at Thorpe Park was the second inverted roller coaster by B&M to be built in the UK, and it's got a much simpler layout than the original Nemesis. However, this ride is still very intense and is one of my favourite roller coasters. So in this video I'm going to explaining why this is one of my favourite roller coasters and why it has one of the most intense experiences on any roller coaster. So this ride has a very unique pre-lift at the beginning, where it kind of swoops in a volcano. There's lots of mist everywhere, and it's just a really cool segment of the ride that they didn't have to add, but they did, so it makes this ride really cool and unique. And the station is elevated high above the ground in a massive volcano, which makes this ride even cooler, because it's currently constantly swooping inside and out of this volcano. It looks really cool. Anyway, you ascend this massive lift hill, which looks great on the skyline for Thorpe Park, before you drop down, do a massive twisted drop into a loop. And this is a very intense loop. It packs some good force, pulling up into it and then pulling down out of it, and it is a very intense and fun element. You then go into a whippy 0G roll, which you just fly through and you get some serious whip going through it, and it is a very, very fun element. You then drop out of it into a turnaround, which is actually weird because most inverts would go up into an Immelman, but this ride just does a straight turnaround, which is one of the most intense parts of the ride, before it pulls up into a great corkscrew, which is such a fun element. You just whip through it, and then you turn around, and then you do a corkscrew which actually intertwines with this previous corkscrew. So it's a really cool visual when you're off the ride, and this all goes over a pathway, so it looks so cool when you're walking in, and gives a great impression when you're entering the area that this ride is located at. You then go around and you do these two helixes, which are very intense and are a great way to end off this already great ride, because it ends with some very intense helixes, and it's just a very fun coaster. It's got some great rock work and trees around it, and in general it's got a very tropical and kind of jungly theme, and there are lots of cool kind of just bushes and rock work around it, since this whole ride, as I said, is located in a massive volcano, and it just looks so cool. And this ride, it's got very good pacing, and that is probably one of its best parts of it. Its pacing, so it just whips through every single element, doesn't give up. It's got just a relentless kind of feeling to it, and you just fly throughout the entirety of the layout. It's got a very unique pre-lift section, and in general this ride is just so much fun, which is why I'm going to be giving it a 9.5 out of 10. This is the closest to a perfect score without it actually being perfect, but I think this ride definitely deserves it, because it's got a great fun layout, not the most unique of layouts, since it is fairly similar to a Batman the Ride clone, since it's got a loop, a 0G roll. I know a Batman the Ride clone has another loop, however it is fairly similar to the fact that it has the two corkscrews in the second half and finishes with a lot of helixes. But this ride, it's just a lot of fun and definitely has some of the most intense elements I've ever experienced. So I hope you enjoyed this review, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.